13 things men wish women knew. In this video, we're going to be diving into what are those things that men are just begging for you to understand about them so that you can know what's going on in his mind, get him to crave you, come to you, fall in love with you, and avoid being confused by men, having them ghost, pull away, lose interest, or reject you. So, if you're interested in that, then go ahead and comment below with I'm ready if you're ready to know exactly what's going on once and for all inside of a man's mind. So hi, my name is Brody Boyd. I'm a Magnetize Your Man expert, and for over 13 years, I've helped single men to attract the right woman for them. So I have a unique perspective into what makes the male brain tick, what they want, what they're thinking of. So I'm going to help you more with understanding that in this powerful video. So if you like anything in this video, my background, my shirt, the content, anything, please give this video a thumbs up right now. Would really appreciate that. And also make sure to subscribe and hit the bell below for more videos like this on how to attract your man for a loving, long-term commitment fast. And also, please share this video with any other women you feel could benefit from this video so we can share the wealth, create more happy, loving, long-term relationships in the world. And also, listen during this video for a special bonus secret I have on the 3 things men need to feel to fall in love with you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in with powerful thing number 1 that men want you to know, which is we want you to be in your feminine. So sometimes you'll hear men say things like, "Oh, I love it when a woman initiates," or "I love it when a woman pays for the meal or takes action or takes control in the bedroom." And yeah, there are men out there who actually do want those things. I mean, what kind of man wouldn't want those things? First off, what kind of man wouldn't want you to take action, to do everything, to do all the work, to initiate and just give him everything he wants right away? Now, the problem is men will want this in the short term, and they'll even say they want this. The problem is to look towards what they actually want in the long term and which kind of women they actually end up choosing in the long term. And the reason why is because if you're taking that initiatory role, if you're taking the masculine role right off from the beginning, you're going to be killing that polarity. He might be attracted in the moment, but long-term, you're going to be killing the polarity that is really the only thing that causes long-term attraction, that masculine, feminine polarity, balance of energies that creates that juice, creates that excitement. In a dance, you can only have one leader at any time and one follow. And how a relationship starts is generally how it will continue. So if you start the relationship by being the one who does everything, who initiates, who's always texting him, he has no room to be in his masculine, and he's ultimately not going to want that. Men want to be really masculine, quality men want to be able to provide for you. They want to be able to help you, to feel valued. We're going to talk about that in a bit, but to really feel like they can be the man for you. They can be your hero. They can be the knight in shining armor. And if you take that away from them, if you take that away from us, we cannot give that to you. We cannot be of value, and we cannot get to feel those passionate emotions that we actually want to feel long-term with a woman that we're with. So very important thing with that. Number 2 is we don't care much about your accomplishments, but more about who you are. So I've encountered a lot of women, we've encountered a lot of women who say things like, you know, I always go on dates and men are intimidated by my accomplishments, or I tell them all about my accomplishments at work and they find out who I am, and I'm afraid I'm intimidating them. Now, the thing is, yeah, your accomplishments are great. And we care about, you know, we're happy for you. We're happy that you have those accomplishments, that you've taken charge of your life and you've done those things. The problem is, romantically, it doesn't really do anything for us. It doesn't really create any juice. Again, we talked about polarity. It doesn't create that feeling of excitement. Ultimately, on a biological level, men don't really care about your accomplishments. And in fact, if you're so much in your masculine, if you're leading with your accomplishments, and if you're competitive, if you're aggressive, if you are the one that is the breadwinner, which is fine, but if you're leading with that, it takes away his ability to be that role, to be your protector, to be your provider, to be in that masculine role. And so it ultimately doesn't really do anything for polarity, for chemistry, for attraction. So again, it's fine if you have those things. Just don't feel like you need to tell him about those things. Don't feel like you need to impress him, because ultimately, if anything, it's going to take away from that attraction. So you want to actually lead with who you are, with your energy, with your femininity, with your ability to be quality partner in a relationship. That's ultimately what we want and what's going to make us attracted and fall in love with you, not those other things. So before we go into the next one, I'd love for you to comment below which country or state are you watching from. I'd love to hear. We have viewers from all over the world. Love to hear where you're coming in, watching in from particularly. Put that in the comments below. I'd love to hear that and peruse the comments for that. Powerful thing number 3 is just because we're not talking doesn't mean we're not enjoying ourselves with you. So if you are feeling like we're being quiet, if your man is being quiet, if he's sitting in the car and you guys are on a date or whatever and he's not talking a whole lot, that doesn't mean you might think he is actually losing interest. Oh, he's not interested anymore. He's going to pull away. He's going to reject me soon, or he's going to break up with me soon. Oftentimes, we don't have anything to say, nor do we need to feel like we have something to say. That's a feminine trait. Femininity is about filling the space. It's about filling it with colors, with joy, with movement, with stuff, right? Masculinity is about emptying out. That's like the release of orgasm. It's like emptying out. It is being in purity, silence, space. That's why you'll often hear men say things like, I need to go to my man cave, or I build a man cave, or, he's overloaded with stimulation, especially if he has a busy job or he has a lot of things going on in his life. He might just want to cool off. So don't feel like it doesn't mean he doesn't love you. We are actually just recharging in those times, and we're probably having a great time, actually. He's probably loving his time with you, especially if you give him that space to just be quiet. He's going to love it even more. So very powerful thing to know about. Number 4 is breakups are harder for us than you might think. Now, oftentimes men get this stereotype that we're not emotional, that we are, that women are the emotional ones, men are just the assholes. They don't really care about anyone's feelings. Again, we're definitely wired differently. Men and women have completely different wiring in their brains emotionally. And that can cause women to feel like, men, we just don't care. We don't have any emotions, when in fact we do have a lot of emotions. And the thing is, we may just we interact with our emotions differently, especially if it's a more masculine man. We interact with our emotions differently. We tend to just either bypass them or focus on something else, or just keep moving forward, or just try to distract ourselves. But with breakups, men are actually more affected by breakups on average, and there's been many studies that have been done on this. I know personally, when I had my first breakup with my ex-girlfriend, after we were together for 2.5 years, I was severely depressed for about 1.5 years. And I was so depressed to the point of having suicidal thoughts. I would have a hard time sleeping. I would have a hard time getting up in the morning, not wanting to get out of bed. And yeah, part of it was because I lived in the same apartment that we were together, so I had a lot of things reminding me of her often. But it's also because men are wired differently, and breakups, we don't have the kind of emotional support system that women tend to have. And when going through a breakup, oftentimes men will isolate, and they'll be with their own emotions, and they won't talk about it. And it can be a lot harder, and it can linger for a lot longer. So just to be aware of that, and perhaps to have some compassion for men, or if your man is recently out of a breakup, or if he's divorced. And also just to know that kind of stuff can be hard for a guy, and that they're not just pure stone and have no feelings. So before we go to our next one, if you haven't yet, I highly recommend joining our free Magnetize Your Man dating and relationship support Facebook group. We have about 6,000 women in there right now. We're sharing great tips, strategies to help you attract the man that you want to be with quickly. So go to mymfbgroup.com. If you haven't joined that yet, highly recommend it. Or you can just go to facebook.com and search for Magnetize Your Man, or we'll put the link in the description below. Highly recommend joining that support group if you haven't got in there yet as well. Now, powerful thing number 5 that men want women to know is that we need to feel valued, respected, and needed. Super important for men. That's where we get our sense of masculine value, especially more masculine men. We want to know that we can help you. We want to know that we had to have something to add to your life. Otherwise, why are you with us? Why are you choosing us? What makes us different than another man? That's why men love to solve problems. That's why we like to be of service. That's why we are more logically oriented, because we want to be of service, we want to be of value, and we want to feel, most importantly, respected, valued, and needed. And so what you can do is make sure you're complimenting us. Make sure you're acknowledging us, calling us your hero if we're being your hero. and letting us know how we're helping you, how we make you feel, how you are benefiting from things that we've done for you. That'll help a man feel stronger and feel more powerful, help us to feel more strong and powerful when we're with you, and feel more like we're in the right relationship. We're with a woman we can win the game with. We want to be with a woman we can win, rather than a woman who's constantly unhappy and criticizing us or emasculating us at the worst. A guy will either lose his whole sense of self-esteem in a relationship like that, or be gone very quickly. So that's a very important thing. Number 6 is we want you to know that sometimes we also just want to feel safe in your arms. So every man has within himself what's called the little boy. So he has a little boy inside of himself, just like you have a little girl inside of yourself. And so be aware of his little boy. And sometimes his little boy just wants to feel safe in, you might say, in mommy's arms, or in the safe feminine, just to feel like he can have some respite from the world, that he can actually be safe and secure for a little moment and feel that warmth in your arms, whether he's resting his head on your chest, or that you're just comforting him, or putting your hands through his hair, just letting him know everything's going to be okay. Sometimes we need that as well, because it can often be a tough and intimidating world out there. And that's one of the big benefits of being in a relationship, as I'm sure you're aware, that we all want to have some place we can feel emotionally safe at the end of the day. Powerful thing number 7 that men want you to know is we often need alone time. So like I talked about before, sometimes we just need silence. Oftentimes also we just need to physically be by ourselves, whether that's in our own room with the door shut, or out in the woods, or in our man cave, or just by ourselves somewhere. It doesn't really matter, because we need to collect our thoughts. Think about it like the bear needs to hibernate. The bear needs to hibernate to replenish its energy. The masculine fills up by emptying out. So when we're by ourselves, we're filling up. And then so we can be our full self. So when we come back to being with you, we can be fully present, we can enjoy ourselves, and we can have something to give. Now, if your man is slowly getting drained and you keep just hammering him with text messages or things, and yeah, of course, there are some guys that maybe he's just pulling away, and maybe he's with another woman, or maybe he is not that interested. But if you're getting pretty serious, and you just to be understanding of him, that he's probably needing some time alone, and actually to help him get time alone, so that when you are together, he can be fully there for you, and you guys can be having an awesome connection. So very powerful with that as well. And I feel that's one thing my wife does really well as well, is Antia will actually give me time alone, and she'll actually encourage me sometimes to go take time alone. And when we got married, we actually said, with this ring, I set you free, meaning it's okay to be yourself. That's part of interdependence. That's part of having healthy boundaries. And it's very important to have that in your relationships. So you avoid codependency. You avoid also just scaring him off through desperate energy or anxiety, over anxiety. So many nuances to that. And before we get to our next one, if you haven't got our free quiz yet, also very powerful to help you attract a long-term commitment with your man, with your ideal man. And we have powerful free resources that come with that quiz. Go to mymquiz.com or click the link below where you can get those free, amazing resources we have to help you take this to the next level and really attract your man once and for all. Powerful secret number 8 is we like it when you tell us exactly how you're feeling or what you want. So we like it when you communicate clearly. I have another point that's going to go deeper in this in a little bit, but the way you can help your man is by actually verbalizing how you're feeling, what's going on inside of you, and what you want. So we know exactly how we can win the game with you. We know exactly what's wrong or what's right in the relationship, so we can do more of what's right and less of what's wrong. And so oftentimes you have to be very explicit in your communication with him, so he knows clearly where he stands with you and how he can get in a good standing. And now the key with this is not to be attacking him. It's very easy to attack him and say, you're not doing what I want you to do, and you made me feel sad, and you made me feel like you don't care. I mean, some of that is good. It's actually good to let him know if he made you feel like you don't care. That's more like he doesn't care. That's more of the feeling. But when you say things like, you're an asshole, or you're not being a good boyfriend or a good husband, that's more of an attack, and that's not going to help anyone. So you have to be specific and tell him what you're feeling, what emotions, and then once he's absorbed that, tell him what he wants, and try to do it in a compassionate, warm way so that he doesn't feel attacked. Very important with that. Powerful thing number 9 is we want you to, I don't have enough fingers for that, I'm getting there. We want to show you off. So that's something counterintuitive about being with a man is oftentimes you may think that a man, he wants to be in a relationship because he wants to let everyone know that he has a woman, or that he wants it to be all about him. When actually, I think most of us guys, we actually want to show you off when we're out, when we're with friends, family. We want you to be like the star of the show. We want you to be the prize. And so you can really help him with that by just knowing that. And so you can actually make sure you're dressing well when you're out together. You're taking care of yourself physically, with your health, with your exercise, with your weight, with your makeup, all those things. Just making sure you look nice so that he feels good showing you off to the world, that you're like the prize. You're like this beauty that he wants to put on this pedestal and say, look what I brought into my life. Like being proud of you, right? Being proud of who he attracted, showing you off to other guys. So other guys and other women and other people in general. So just know he wants to be proud of you. He wants to show you off. He is proud of you. It's just also giving us that sense of, look who I'm with. Like this, like with being with a woman this great, that must mean that I'm really great, that I attracted a woman like that. Just to be aware of that. Powerful thing number 10 is we love compliments too. So we love to be complimented on all kinds of things, especially if our love language is words of affirmation. So compliments about what we did for you, who we are, our accomplishments, things, because the masculine does want to actually be acknowledged for his accomplishments and things he's done in the world, things he's done for you, how he's helped you. So compliment him for those things and let him know when he's being your hero. Let him know when he's awesome. Let him know when you loved what he said or what he did for you, and really fill him up. Sometimes you can also not just compliment him, but give him a hug, give him a kiss, give him a massage. Just let him know you're really doing a good job. You're being a great boyfriend. You're being a great husband. You're being a great partner. Or just compliment, even on a first date, you can compliment the guy on something he did or something you like about him, his sense of humor, etc. Goes a long way. Another gift we have for you, if you haven't got this yet, is trigger his desire. Trigger his desire. So if you'd like to discover a powerful psychological trigger to make any man beg and plead to be with you after this video, I highly recommend also going to triggerhisdesire.com. You can read more about that there. Read our article, get Trigger His Desire if you want to get that super powerful way to get the advanced principles on how to make a man really crave you, really desire you, really become devoted to you beyond anything else and put you number one. Highly recommend picking that up. Triggerhisdesire.com. We'll put a link in the description for that below as well. Or you can pause the video and go check that out now as well. Now, powerful thing number 11, we're getting there, is we aren't mind readers. We aren't mind readers. So again, like I was talking about before, you often have to just know that men, you might think he knows what's going on inside of you, that you're upset or that he did this thing that made you feel uncomfortable. Men often don't know. We're not as emotionally intuitive as you are. If as a feminine woman, you're going to be more intuitive than as a masculine man. So you need to be aware of that and know that you oftentimes need to be explicit and tell him what he did or why you're feeling the way you're feeling or how you're feeling, just to be explicit and just realize he probably doesn't know. You might think he knows, or he should know better, or he should know I'm upset by that, or he should know he shouldn't do that. Sometimes he could forget something as well. So you just have to constantly kind of communicate with a guy more than you would than with your girlfriends, because he's probably not going to be as socially or emotionally aware as you are. Very important. Number 12 is we care more about how we feel. We care more about how we feel about you rather than what was said. So let's say after a date or after he was hanging out with you, you might think it was more like, oh, we had this great conversation and we talked all about these similar interests and had all this intellectually stimulating conversation, when actually he cares more about how he felt when he was with you, when he's away from you. We don't tend to fall in love when we're with somebody. We tend to fall in love when we're away from them, thinking about them. So it's the crystallization process. So you want to realize that and know that it's more about how you make him feel emotionally, which means you need to feel good when you're with him. You need to be enjoying yourself, having a good time, feeling confident, feeling sexy, feeling fun, because that's probably how he's going to feel when he's with you. And he's going to be feeling those emotions afterwards and being like, wow, that was just so fun hanging out with you. Or that night was so awesome. I want to see her again. I had so much fun. I felt great. I felt passion. I felt chemistry. I felt attracted. I felt alive. I felt confident. I felt comfortable. So all those good emotions, you want him to, it's more about how he's going to feel afterwards than anything particular you said or discussed with him, really. It's just good to know, be aware of. It's the emotional piece that's more important to us when we're deciding which woman we're going to see again, which woman we want to continue a relationship with, which woman we want to get married to. So very key with that. Now, lastly, number 13 is when we say that we're thinking about nothing, it's usually true. Now, I think most women realize this at this point, but when a guy says, when you say, what are you thinking about? And he says nothing, he's probably being serious. Like our minds, especially if he's a masculine man, again, we want to empty out, right? The masculine's about emptying out. So his mind actually might be focused on emptying at that moment. He might not be thinking about your relationship or that he doesn't love you anymore or that he's pulling away or that he's thinking about another woman or that he's conflicted in some way. Just realize he may actually not be feeling any or thinking about anything at that moment, and that's okay. And again, it doesn't mean he doesn't care about you, doesn't mean he doesn't like you, doesn't mean he's pulling away. It just means there's nothing going on right now. And just to be okay with that and feel secure in that. Don't necessarily put a red flag on that, okay? It's like it's a totally normal thing. It doesn't mean anything. It could even be good because it means he feels comfortable with you, that he's not anxious, he's not worrying, he's not afraid of anything. So it could be a good sign as well. Now, before I share my last bonus secret with you, go ahead and comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts in this video of which of these did you already know about and which are surprising to you about men. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that before we get on our bonus right now, which is my bonus thing that we want you to know about, men want you to know about, which is we may look at other women. It just means we're male. Okay, when men are looking at an attractive female body or female face, it's a biological compulsion, okay? It's like breathing. It's like the lungs are filling with air, right? Well, the eyes will go to certain things because that's just the way men are wired. So for you to know about that, that'll help alleviate a lot of anxiety, worry, thinking that he's attracted to another woman more than you or he wants another woman more than you. It's like, no, it doesn't mean any of those things. It just means literally it's a biological trigger most men can't help, right? It's like, again, it's like when you see the sun, you want to close your eyes. And especially because men are so visual. So it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean he's not fully in love with you. It doesn't mean he doesn't want to spend the rest of his life with you. It doesn't mean that he's completely passionate about you. It literally is a biological function that is very hard to turn off and oftentimes is involuntary. Just that little thing. Of course, as a man becomes more evolved, he can start to control it more, focus it more. But it's something that can happen sometimes. So don't make it a big deal. Don't freak out. Don't think you have to now leave him because he's going to leave you. Just acknowledge it. It's male. It doesn't mean he's going to cheat on you. It doesn't mean he's going to do any of those things. It just means what it means. Okay, it just means that happened. So that's something I think most men want you to know about. That please don't make it think like it's him like losing interest or that he loves somebody, he wants somebody else more than you. It's literally just that. It's a biological compulsion, and sometimes the eyes just go where they go. So that'll help alleviate a lot of drama and pain in a relationship, hopefully, just understanding that fully. So if you like this video, if you got any value, please, again, like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more powerful videos like this. And up next, I have a very valuable video, if you haven't seen it already, which is when a man deeply loves you, when he loves you, he will start saying these 5 things to you. So if you want to get that video, click over here. We're going to pop the video up, click that. And again, share this video also with any other women you feel got a lot of benefit. Much love. Hope this was helpful. And I'll talk to you again on our next powerful video coming up very soon. Bye-bye.